why I'm sitting here talking to you like we got like 20 minutes left before
Yeah,
time to
I
go
know.
live.
That's what always happens. That's what always happens. We think that we have more time. Meanwhile, the counter is like, it's showtime, you stupid bitches. Go!
Yeah, right?
Go!
Good morning, everyone. It is January 20th, 2023.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Everyone's waking up. Everyone's still waking up. That's what's going on.
Oh my gosh. Don't say
I
everyone's waking up because it makes me think of the Folgers in your cup, which
Oh,
then,
no.
but then it takes me to this Richard Gere meme.
No!
No,
No Richard Gere
Gerbils
memes.
in your butt, and I'm
Although-
not even
although,
there today.
All I have to say though, if the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup, go back to bed.
Go back to sleep. Oh my god.
What day is it today?
It's Friday.
Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday.
You ready for this?
No, absolutely not. But
we're going to do it anyway. The views and opinions expressed within the video content found on the Indy Comics Network are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of the Indy Comics Network or its sponsors. I love that song.
I really do. I love the way
my if I danced, I would dance to that.
Yeah, no, I really love the way my trailer came out. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's like I said, the secret is keeping time to the beats.
Oh yeah,
that seems to be the secret. That's that shit that Meredith was really really good at, and it's tedious, but you know what? The end result is really worth it. Oh, so good morning, everybody. Jesus Christ! Did we even say what day it was? Like we know it's Friday, but that's the extent of it.
Friday, January 20th, 2023.
Ew. Oh my goodness. So who's joining us in the chat this
there are a bunch of people watching, but only Mike Jimmy is talking.
Oh, because he's the only one that's up. Everyone is still getting the eye boogers out of their eyes and things like that, you know.
Sex, drugs, and comics and dip pins.
Right, there we go.
Good
yeah,
choice,
it's like
Mike
it's like no, it's like
life choices here.
You know, I don't know about the sex, drugs, and the sex and the drugs. God knows my back is not being cooperative.
We just need to be gentle.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. So welcome everybody to another edition of the Rage and Tooth of Vlogs show. Yes, and I see you, 8 people watching me next to the giant eyeball on my StreamYard screen, watching us from regions beyond. Hey, George. And yes, and if you are joining us from Facebook, if you are joining us from Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Join the sexy people in the chat. You know how Facebook is. Yeah. I want to hear more about that.
Yeah,
It's
I want to
like,
know what happened with that.
yeah, exactly. It's like, Facebook keeps acting up. Twitter doesn't really allow us to see or like interact with anybody. So watching hentai like a family. So it's like
Bring the kitties. No,
yeah.
don't.
No, don't do
Don't.
that. Don't do
Don't.
that.
We don't even like them.
Yeah, what did I say? Yes, join the sexy people in the chat where it's much easier for us to converse directly with you. So yes, I don't know. It's like there's a lot of topics floating around right now. So let's get this party started.
Who are you?
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York, which explains a lot. I have been self-publishing comics since 1992, and I am known for the furry fantasy adventure Tall Tales, with Tall Tales the Peacekeepers on pre-launch right now and launching officially next Friday on the 27th. So if you haven't signed up to be notified, do that now. Do that. We'll watch the show first, then you can go do that. You can go do that. But get notified the second it goes live on Friday. So next Friday, because today is Friday. So next Friday, yes.
Priorities.
I am just really excited to finally get this thing on the road. And I am also known for my medieval fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, which issue 6 already. We're at issue 6, launching on Kickstarter late spring 2023. So keep an eye out for that. Again, another, I'm just like, you know what? I'll explain
every time
later.
you pull it up.
I'll explain later. Yeah, it's like you can read both my comics online in the meantime at Tall Tales, TAILS online.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can also check out all my videos on how I make my comics here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, LAGE Art, which simulcasts through the Indy Comics Network. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified whenever any of our shows
Share it
go
if you're
live.
not too embarrassed.
Right, exactly. It's like we have something for most everybody on this channel. So make sure you do all that to keep the algorithm gods happy, so. And to tell you more about the algorithm gods and about this channel here's Nita to explain it all to you.
There's really nothing to explain. There's 2 YouTube channels. There's a bunch of shit on both of them. There's Indie Comics Network and there's Indie Comics Network After Dark. Same content, same style content, more adult content on the After Dark channel. So, and that's just where we're at right now. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up. Let's see. Monday, Mike Jimmy's launching.
Yes,
We're going to have Life on Cora Volume 1, which, by the way, not only does Jada do Eagle Raven covers, she also did this fantastic fucking cover over here on the right.
It's very beautiful.
God, and you know what kills me?
What?
It's like the kid is such a hack. She muted those colors perfectly first round. We didn't have to go back. Right. There was nothing that needed. There was nothing. It was just like, oh, this is okay.
This is it.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna show Mike and listen. And he was like, yeah, he was sold too. There was no correction, no nothing. Right. It was just done.
Yeah.
Like the kid blows my mind.
Yeah. Oh my goodness! Also, it's like speaking
this Monday
to me. Next
one
coming Monday.
Coming up.
This coming Monday. Yes.
Coming Monday.
This coming Monday. And also it's like yes. And also speaking of you mentioned the After Dark channel. Nina, I think, is about to start her new show.
Yes, she has a show coming up. She's starting this month. John Celestri has something coming up in February. I don't have all the dates with me right now, but I'm going through and updating all the show notes and everything today. Right. So anything you find that you can look up on the network is going to be up to date as of this afternoon.
Right. There you go. Excuse me, I have sympathy sniffles because the cat still has still has his cold. It's only been 5. It feels like it's been forever, but no, he's only had his cold for 5 days. Hello, Frank. And and he is such a miserable little schmuck. He looks exactly the way Nita looked when she had her head cold and like sniffling, and she's all squinting. He can't open his, he can barely open his one eye because it's like, oh, my nose. And but he's still eating, he's still drinking, he's pretty much doing everything normally. He just looks miserable. My sister says that as long as he's eating and drinking, he should be fine. It's like it just takes a bit for them to get over it. It's like she goes, what is it that she says that it's like? Yeah, cats are such obligate nose breathers that just the slightest congestion makes them think that they're dying. So it's like, just like people.
No, we don't have. Oh,
yeah.
It.com.
Got absolutely.
IndieComicsNetwork.com.
So yeah, so it's like me and him have just been like sitting on the sofa, just being miserable. Although it's like my leg issue is almost gone. It's almost gone. At least now it's like I'm able to walk.
This is the longest almost ever.
Yeah, well,
I'm not. Like, I know you're annoyed. I'm annoyed.
It's like I'm not 30 anymore. Back then I used to pull my back, and within a week I was good. Now it's like, oh, I'm lucky if I can get to. It's like now I'm lucky if I'm at a point now where it looks like my sex move is stepping on a Lego. It's like
the fuck is.
I mean, it's like so I'm almost okay. Almost okay. So it's like, yeah, so it's just like super annoying. And yesterday especially I had to be really careful with my back because I felt that pull again that got me in this mess to begin with. So it's like, okay, I'm not even tying my shoes, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just gonna sit here and I'm just gonna draw. So at least I was able to do that. So there you go. So what you've been up to, Nita?
Catching up. I had almost 2 weeks downtime where I was moving, but I was moving very slow. So I've got a bunch of shit to get caught up on. I got the notebook, and the notebook is like full.
Right. It's like you had said that like a couple of days of having a cold put you 2 weeks behind or something.
Yeah, and then it just got even. It just built. It was the worst timing possible because I got sick right as everything started picking back up. It's like I couldn't have been sick 2 weeks before when it would have been convenient to be on my ass in a bed.
Yeah.
No, it had to happen when work picks
up. Oh,
so
no. This has been look, it's like we're not even at the end of the first month yet, and it's like, oh, this fucking year.
I know, right?
I mean, it's like it's just been what is it? I think everything's in retrograde right now. So
well, we had the new network launch, and that coincided with the timing and me being able to sync up and meet up with everybody. And then I have a stack of edits. It's unbelievable.
Right.
Thank God I just sat down this morning and was looking and put everything in order as to how to hit them and still make all the deadlines without putting anybody behind, because that would really fucking suck.
Right.
Just trying to being behind sucks.
Right. No. It really does. Because it's like, it's just, no. Luckily, it's like I've been able to catch up with most of my stuff. It's like I don't know if it's the Duplos.
Those are the big ones, right?
Yeah, exactly. The baby Legos. What is it? It's like, so I was so excited because I don't remember if I mentioned it on Monday, because I don't remember when I did it because that's just how much of a blur everything is. I finally finished the layouts to Eagle Raven issue 8, and I couldn't be more thrilled. So I was able to knock that right off my list. And I can't show anything. I
no,
really
you can't.
I cannot. It's like we are now in heavy spoiler zone. In terms,
like I can't even talk about it because people paid attention over the past 2 years. They'll know.
you don't, yeah, it's like, and even then there's stuff in this issue you don't know. There's more.
I hate you.
Yes, you right. But look, I do it for the good of the story. So that's, unfortunately, that's how it goes. I mean, it's kind of like just kind of weird. Like I keep talking about how much I love these characters and this, that, and the other thing. And then I get this moment. It's like, oh, I love you so much. Time to torture you. So it's just kind of like, that's how the story goes. But I was just really happy. I was even happier to find this out yesterday too. So I finished, so what it is, I put together a rough I guess like I put together like a rough edition of the volume 2 trade paperback to see all the pages, to see how they all work together and whatnot. And when I was going through the last issue 8, that was just in the layout stage, what I realized was that a lot of those panels are ready to go, which means that I can actually ink those panels exactly the way they are now. Like I was able to sketch them in tight enough that it's like, hey, I could just ink those and get them over with. Because what I would usually do is that I would like tighten up the pencils even more, get everything in blue line and then ink.
Right.
And realize, wait a minute, I can actually save some time now. These pencils are actually tight enough. I mean, there's still a lot of panels that I do have to to tighten the pencils on to blue line properly for me to ink it properly. But there's just as many panels where it's like, hey, I could just go straight into this. So I'm actually pretty excited about that because that'll save me a lot of time, and it makes finishing just look more attainable. Because like, oh, I just have to start inking these panels and then work on the other panels later, and then it's like, oh snap, I might actually, I don't want to get too cocky, that's the thing. I don't want to get too cocky with it, but you know what, I was just like, it really put me in a really good mood to realize.
Yeah, when you're debating on tying your shoelaces, you shouldn't get cocky about anything.
Right. No, absolutely. So so at least, that puts me actually closer to finishing what I need to do for this year, so I'm very excited about that. And here's the other thing too. I got so excited because of that. I actually jumped ahead on my schedule board. And for those of you who follow me on Facebook, you know the joke, right? You saw the post, right? I am not renaming Eager Raven Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut, but I am doing a one-shot. You know what? The joke was just way too funny, and it's like, you know what? I think for as much shit as we talk about, like what makes money on Kickstarter and what doesn't, but especially what seems to make money on Kickstarter, even if it is just 20% of the entire what's on Kickstarter, there just came a point where it's like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm you know what? Let's prove this theory. I mean, it's like, if this is the type of book that people want to see on Kickstarter, that people are, it's like, you know what? Let's try it. Screw it. Let's have some fun with it. So it's like, yes, it's like, actually the name of the one shot is The Unicorn King's Daughter, which is a complete ripoff of the Conan story, which is part of the fun. It'll all make sense in the one shot. So this story, so this story is just me not only just completely pandering, but you know what, honestly, in the end, it's just me pandering to myself, because like, what, screw it.
Good luck with that. It took me 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. I like I said, I really suck at checking my friends, the friends thing on Facebook. So bear with me. So for those of you who don't follow me on Facebook, which you should, because you miss out on a lot of stupid shit like this. So it's like, yes, it started off as a Facebook joke because we were debating about silly titles that seemed to make it on, like just the whole. Actually, it was kind of a goof on Caleb Palmquist, who did a book called Unicorn Vampire Hunter, and then he did another book called Vampire Detective in Space. And just these books. He does these books with these silly titles. And when he was being interviewed on Tyler James's Comics Launch podcast, there was asked, it's like, what do you think helped with your success on Kickstarter? And he straight up goes, it's the silly title. I really do think it's the silly title. And, and it's like, he was being facetious, but you know what? When it comes to algorithms, we never know, right? So I had made the joke on Facebook. It's like, no Kickstarter algorithm. I am not changing Ego Raven's name to Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut. And the more I thought about it, the more it's just like this idea popped into my head. And it was just like, you know what? Let's test this theory. Let's test this
And then
theory.
there was a cover.
And then there was a cover, right? And then, first there was a logo. Then there was a cover that only Nita saw, right? And then there was the doodles kind of hinting at this, where it's, and it just turned into like this mess of a thing. And I'm sitting there going, I can make this work. I can make this work. So, so it's like, so it's going to have, so it's just like, so I pretty much like, you know what, I'm going to like, just have fun with it. I'm going to put together this story that's based on the Conan story, The Frost Giant's Daughter, very loosely based on and abused. And we're just going to see how this does as a one shot on Kickstarter. I mean, it's probably I'm trying to keep it short, probably 16 pages at most. It's going to have a double cover. It's going to be like kind of like a flip book, where you get the Unicorn King's Daughter and the actual cover on the front, but when you flip it, you get Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut on the back. And it's just going to be silly. It has everything in it. It has werewolf Loki in it. It has a half naked Ego Raven running around. It has softcore porn. It has the doodles coming to life at the end. It's a whole mess. It's a whole thing. Like I said, we're having fun with it. And you know what? I really am excited at the idea of having a Kickstarter that says Medieval Unicorn Viking Slut in the title.
Are you going to be able to use slut in the title?
Well, you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to find out. I think that, I don't remember if it was you when we were talking about this the last time, that, yes, it is. It's an homage. It is an homage to Conan. Yes, it is. And it just, so it's like, it has furries. It has furries and nakedness and cheerleaders and exploding ponies.
Everything but drugs.
Yeah, everything but drugs. No, you're going to think I was on drugs doing this book. So so I'm already like sketched out page 5, and it's just the more I do it, just the more fun I'm having with it. And it's like, it's just, you know what? It's the type of thing, like the feeling that I had after I finished laying out issue 8, and then the feeling that I'm getting just doing the layouts for this short story, this short experimental story for Kickstarter. It's like, you know what? This is why I do it. This is why I do this, because it's like I have never done anything for a 9-to-5 employer that made me this excited, and it is just like, this is why I do it. And it's like, and I just hope that when I finish this, that everybody also has a good time with it. So, so that's something to look forward to. this year. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just very excited by it. Oh, also another thing, going to John Celestri's comment. So I guess if I remember his post, so how did the post office destroy all of your Kickstarter reward packages at the same time? Did they run a snowplow over it?
I'm wondering if they weren't destroyed or if he got popped for media mail.
But the thing is, though, usually, that's a good point, because he did specifically say no more media mail for him.
Right. So I'm curious to hear the rest of this story.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, so that's because it's like that's so because he also so maybe they opened up everything and it's like, oh, this is maybe that's what he meant by destroyed. And so was it they popped you for media mail?
That sucks.
Because
So George.
here's the thing. Oh, okay. Because here's the thing. It's like, it's because you see, I keep getting varying, like answers on that. There's some people who say no. There's some people who say yes. If it's like this, that, and the other thing. And it's like it depends on who's at your post office. It's like I said, I've switched post offices whenever it's kind of gotten a little hairy for me, because it's like they opened up all your packages. Okay. So do they at least send it back to you? Do they at least like dump it to you? Okay, because George got it back. I know that that Joe D, that he's had stuff returned.
Yeah, all the packages.
Yeah, that sucks because I just checked. Well, no, what it is that media mail. They say when you're like, I don't know if it's, I don't remember if it's on the label or something. Oh, it's on the website that media mail is subject to inspection to make sure that you're not abusing media mail. And the thing is, though, media mail, from what I understand, is supposed to be like educational books or something, stuff with no advertising in it. But the thing is, though, is that again, it's like I get mixed signals as to whether do comic books count or not, because it's like, okay, like stuff like Marvel, where they have like Marvel comics where they have like legit advertising in it for like, I don't know, for like actual like Nintendo and shit in there, or whatever the fuck, like
paid advertisement,
that doesn't qualify. But I mean, most independent stuff, we only have ads for our own shit in there. So it's like that's not paid advertisement. But depending on who's looking at it, you get different answers. Oh, this is okay. This is not okay. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see, HoloCon. What kind?
Yeah, I think that's in Georgia. I think that's a Georgia convention,
right? Yeah.
You get this far, we'll figure out a way to get that far,
right? Yeah. Convention. So yeah, so it's kind of like you send stuff media mail at your own risk, which is why that's why shipping is kind of tricky, because you want to charge me. I know everyone wants to try to charge the lowest rates possible, but you lost, so you have to redo them all over again. All right. It's like, yeah, you had somebody nosy there. That's the thing. Because I just checked my packages. Oh, and that's the thing too. So yes, getting the postal service does pick up. And I was very happy that I made a reservation for them to pick up all my packages, all of me and JD's packages. So it's like 200 something packages. And they picked it up the next that Tuesday morning. It's like I was so happy to not have to like do multiple trips to the post office.
Right.
So that actually worked. And I checked I checked a lot of the tracking number, and there's a lot of packages being delivered today. So everything else is in transit. So we're good. Oh, and here's the thing. John, did they pop you when at the beginning, like before they shipped it out, or were they like in transit and then they changed their minds? Because it's like, I'm kind of wondering if they like someone popped you when you dropped them off, and then I mean, but did they pop you when you dropped it off? Like you dropped it off and then like the next day? Because it sounded like it happened really quick. I mean, like I said, it's oh.
Yeah, I bet
Oh,
you did.
well, that's
Yeah.
get your meds. You see, that's the thing. You don't want to like, that's why in certain cases, like depending on where you are, I know that, look, it's like, I know that we have the Gemini mailer, coupon code. It does work. Raging 10. I bought all my bags and boards with that and saved, $60. It was wonderful. But the thing is, though, it's like, I think depending on where you are, right? Okay, so it's like that's kind of a thing. So they kind of like know, really quick. You'll find out really quickly. If it's. That's the chance. I mean, that was kind of the thing that made me nervous about sending everything all at once, as opposed to going little by little. I don't know, maybe for next time I'll probably just stick to going little by little, depending. I don't know. Like I said, it's what was I saying? Oh, I was about to make a point. Oh, Gemini mailers. That I think that there's some places that actually recognize Gemini mailers.
Yes.
And they immediately open them up if it says media mail on it.
Yep.
So it's like, again, you send stuff media mail at your own risk. It's a shame. It's like, because like I said, they say no comic books. They say comic books. Also, here's the thing too. This is
John and Jody both said they have pronounced outlining no comics.
No comics? Okay.
Yeah, because the Jody said the explanation he got is they don't distinguish between retail versus proof.
Oh, I see. So there you have it. So and that's why shipping books on Kickstarter is so expensive, because we kind of have to make up for this,
Yeah.
Speaking of shipping, so so this was the first fulfillment that I did. This was the first fulfillment that I did where I used a new service called Pirate Ship.
Yep.
And I was dabbling with it before, but I really got to use it this time around with a full fulfillment. And I have to say I'm hooked. I am absolutely hooked with Pirate Ship. Yeah, it's like, not sponsored, by the way, but at the same time,
but we could be. We're open to it.
Yeah,
Call us.
But at the same time, that the beauty of it is that they don't charge anything. It's not like stamps.com where I was paying $20 a month to use it. Oh, okay. So you got it. All right. Yeah. Because I know that some people are getting their packages today. So I guess, I kind of lucked out with a lot of my packages. So that, Pirate Ship, it really is. So one, it doesn't cost you anything to sign up. Two, the thing that really, really, the thing that really got me was that on stamps.com, I had to set up the Excel spreadsheet that I got from Kickstarter. I had to set it up in a very specific way for it to work on stamps.com, and I hated that process. I hate working in Excel. It's just it's like it was very, and then it's like there were certain things that I still had to do manually, because it's like, I like to have the backer numbers printed on the label, so when it prints out, I know which package to put on. But what is it, with stamps, I had to manually go in and put all that in. I couldn't figure out how to get that. Like if I made a line in Excel, I couldn't figure out how to get stamps to recognize it, and It wouldn't. So it was just a pain. I really hated that process. Pirate Ship, on the other hand, they take the Excel spreadsheet as is, and all you have to do is just tell it which columns you want to populate, and it populates. There's no setup or anything. Actually, the only setup that I do is I create the new column with the backer numbers on it, and Pirate Ship immediately picks it up. So all I have to do is just tab it, tell it where I want it, and that's it. The setup was minimal. And it was really the amount of time that it saved me to do my packages was insane. Usually it takes me about like almost a week to do this through stamps.com. Through Pirate Ship, within like not even a day, I had all my packages labeled. It was just so easy. And also, no kidding about internationals. Pirate Ship has its own discount program, and it always, so when you look up rates on Pirate Ship, it always defaults to the least expensive way to ship, right?
Yeah.
And also, here's the thing too. Pirate Ship also specifically says that media mail, that comics cannot go through media mail. So that was the thing. It's like, you're telling me in advance, that type of thing. So when you do the rates, so unless you know for certain you're sending media mail, it doesn't show media mail on your list. So you're getting the cheapest rate for your packages without seeing media mail, which may or may not apply to you. So if you know you have it, you can click on it and then see the rate.
Right.
But so it kind of makes it easy, less confusion that way. But here's the beautiful thing. International. So when you sign up for Pirate Ship, you have to contact them. You can do this through chat. I didn't have to call them or anything. And you could say that you want the special discount for internationals. For some reason, you have to request it. It's not automatic when you sign up. And the discount is noticeable. I mean, what would have cost me just $800 alone to ship internationals? Actually, no, not $800. That was, it's like
Maths.
Maths. It's like, like my internationals would have cost me like 500 alone. My internationals, right? With this discount, my internationals now cost me $2.
Nice.
So it was
off the top, it's worth it.
Yeah, off the top, it's worth it. It's like, we're talking about like something that would have cost me $35 to ship now costs me $18. And of course, depends on the country you're sending to. And also, here's the beautiful thing too about Pirate Ship. They have a calculator. Well, all you have to do is just put in a country and it gives you the rates. You don't, like before, I always had to find, you have to put in an actual address. And it's like, come on. I just want to know if shipping to what it costs to ship to Norway or Australia or something. I think I don't have anybody. I just need to know. But no, with Pirate Ship, you just put in your country that you want to ship to and it gives you all the prices. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, it's like, it's, but then again, it's like, look, I've been reading some crazy shit about like the EU, like some new EU laws that were popping up that were affecting sellers to those countries. And, and it's like, look, if the shipping's not going to get you, the new rules are. There was this new rule that I think like in Spain, like you have to pay, like if you're shipping to Spain, you have to pay like a yearly fee to help with recycling packaging. Now mind you, this is a thing that they did because of Amazon, but I saw a lot of small Etsy sellers were getting hit with this as well. And they were saying it's like, yeah, they have to pay, like if they wanted to ship to certain parts of the European Union, they had to pay like $600 a year for recycling fees. And it's like, they were like going, guess I'm not shipping to those countries anymore. So, yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, international just gets more and more complicated, So yeah, so Pirate Ship, I highly recommend it. I was really happy with the way everything turned out. So yes, Pirate Ship, like I said, we're not sponsored, but it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost anything for to use Pirate Ship. So let's see. And what else? What else we're kind of, like I said, we're kind of all over the place today. It's like I didn't have like one particular topic to talk about, although C brought up something
Oh, you're gonna jump right
that,
into it.
well, it's like, what else are we doing? It's like
Yeah.
we're already at
All
the
right.
half
All
hour,
right.
at the half
Fine.
hour mark.
Fine.
It's like, do you want to play a bump before we get into it to kind of segue into it, or
Okay. This is all we need, right?
all right, okay.
Stay a while and listen.
Absolutely, absolutely. So there so C was talking about, and so I think it's like on one previous episode that we did, we were talking about the differences between having standards and gatekeeping, and what's the you know and I guess C had brought up kind of something to dovetail in with that, and he was talking about criticism, and it's like, it's like, what was it that he was that he was kind of
the different types of criticism. Like, is it are you being critiqued? Not like are you being critiqued because of jealousy? Are you being critiqued because your product is actually good? Or are you being critiqued? Do they like you more because you're your friend? Like,
right,
there's like a whole bunch of factors.
right, because it's like, it's like it's kind of like a mixed bag, because it's like, I always, it's like I hear the complaints, and it's like, we've done it too, where it's like, oh, the bar for comics is so low and just anybody can do it, and there are people who are doing it, who think they can do it, and it's like, oh honey, you're not
You
even
think you can do these things, Nemo, but you can't.
yeah, exactly. And it's like, that they think that just because grandma told them they like their little comics, that all of a sudden, it's like they can just toss their hat into the ring, and do a Kickstarter campaign or something, when, it's like beyond not ready for prime time. They're not even near the television set, they're not
Right.
even nowhere near the studio, it's like, forget being ready for prime time.
I'm an artist.
It's like they're not even, they're not even ready for basic for UHF. It's like they're not even public access. I mean, but you see, but the thing is, though, it's like, at the same time, that's kind of the appeal, right? To comics, the fact that, well, anybody actually can do it.
Because
I
it's
mean,
easy.
I mean, well, the easy part, it's simple to get into comics, but no, it is not easy. Especially, it's like when you're talking, because it's like, even like, depending on the POD printer, that it's like the printer that I use, I could order two. I could order one copy if I wanted. So it's not like, money is a factor either. It's like, it's not like you have to, oh, I need $500. Like, no, you just buy one copy. There you go. There's your comic. But like I said, it's like, it's kind of the appeal, where it's like, oh, anybody can do this. And it's like, well, that's true. Anybody could do this, but should you? But here's the thing, I mean, depending on where you are, whether someone considers you not ready for prime time or a professional can vary wildly, and the thing is that, like, when I guess the whole thing is like, is critique something that I mean, is it just something that we should just mind our own business and let everything just fall the way they do?
Look,
Or
I
it's
mind my
like,
business unless someone asks. And even if they ask sometimes, bruh, I'd rather you not. Like, I'll
Right.
be like, please don't ask. Please just don't.
Because it's like, as kind of confident as I am with my work, I don't like asking those types of questions either. It's like I've always said that it's like, look, I know what my flaws are. I don't need to have that repeated. It's like, look, I know I need to lose 30 pounds, that type of thing.
You
I
don't need
already
to point it
that.
out.
Yeah, you don't need to point it out. But the thing is, though, is like if I'm asking for something, it's like I think the most awkward thing that I had to do was, but at the same time turned out to be the most helpful, was when I was putting out issue 1 and I needed pull quotes, because it's like, oh, it's like if you have pull quotes on a campaign, it kind of like gives that social acceptance kind of thing going on.
Right.
If people liked it, maybe I'll like it type of thing.
Right.
And, so I had to do that. It's like, oh shit, it's like, what if they say something's wrong with my comic? What if they say it's actually not very good? Like, what is this, type of thing. But luckily, that's not what happened. But I did have a couple of people who said, it's like, well, I have questions. And I'm like, oh no, I have questions. I just wanted a fucking pull quote. Don't have questions. But I powered through. And it turned out that the questions that they had were valid. That these were actually very valid questions that I didn't think about in terms of the story. They were, because at first I panicked because I thought, were they expecting these questions to be asked in the first issue? Like I kind of got confused with that. Were they expecting this to be? I mean, it's like, I can't answer all this. You're asking me for an info dump, this, that, and the other thing. And then it's like, I went through the whole emotion, all the emotional state, the stages of grief or whatever the fuck, whatever that is, right? And then it's like, I realized, like, wait a minute, they're not asking me all those questions because the first issue didn't answer it. It's like this is how their brain is going. Like, it's like, okay, this is the first issue. These are the questions I already have on the first issue. Now, also, here's the thing, too. They're reading this first issue without even knowing if I'm going to put out a second one, right? Because that's also something that happens a lot. It's like you see these new comics and, it's like, oh, is it even going to make it to a second issue? But here, what these questions were telling me was that these people were hoping, that the story interested them enough to ask these questions in the hopes that they would be answered later, that they would find out. And it's like, and once I kind of got it to that, I was like, oh, snap, I really got to think about these questions. And especially Ben Lacey from Shark of War, he asked the most pertinent questions. And I rewrote like the last part of Eager Raven because of those questions. And honestly, I got like a better a better product, a better story because of that. So much so that I even thanked him for that. So in the end, it's like it wasn't that it was a critique per se, but it's like the story interested him enough for him to think that far ahead,
right?
Trying to assume it was going to happen. And it's like, well, what about these questions? And it's like, you know what? You're right. I never, and I ended up building up the story to be able to answer those questions. So I guess that was kind of a critique that, that happened, that worked in my favor, where it's like, holy crap, it's like, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have moved the story the way I ended up moving later on. So, I mean, and I will, always credit Ben Lacey for that, that it's like, you made me think about my own story that I didn't think about, so the thing is that, okay, so I kind of asked for it and I kind of got it back. So that worked, but here's the thing though. It's like, so we see, comics and it's like, oh man, if only they would do this, and that, it'd be a better book.
Right.
right? And here's the thing, and it's like, if I'm thinking of that, it's because I care enough to think about like that. That's how
Right.
it, that it's like but at the same
But
time,
are they going to be receptive to that?
you
Do
know,
you volunteer that if they don't
yeah, it's
ask?
like, just like, when people when he came to me, it's like, well, I have these questions. It's like I panicked, and it took me a while to understand what was happening, and it's like, and if I acted like that, I know a lot of other people are going to act like that too. And it's like, well, what if you did this? What if you did that? It's like, how about if you change this? How about if you change that? Why are you doing things this way? Um, but in the end, it's like, even if I'm trying to be helpful, they didn't ask.
Right.
Like, I think that it's like they didn't ask. So, well, you see, and that's the thing too, because especially when you're online and you put artwork up or whatnot, there's always going to be the person who thinks that I'm going to be the one to say it.
Right.
And the thing is, though, and it depends on the context of what it is. Like right now, I'm updating Eagle Raven on the website. So every day there's an update, there's an upload where you can read Eagle Raven for free. I have a guy on there who's actually proofreading panel by panel.
Oh my gosh.
And the funny thing is that he's finding more mistakes. And I'm like, well, holy shit. It's like, I must have read this thing a bazillion times, and he, and in the end, it's like, I go, you know what? This is really helpful. He just started doing it. And I go, you know what? This is really helpful. What I'm going to do is that as you point things out, I'm going to change it in my main file. And then as the issue is completed, I'm going to redo the file, my master file, so that all subsequent printings will have all these corrections in it. Yeah, and it's like, that's the thing too, because here's also the thing too, when people, that you kind of have to stop and think
there's
about.
a lot of people like this. They just want approval and validation, but they don't want to hear it.
Right. It's like that they're asked that what they're really asking to you, like she said, from you is validation, not a critique. It's like they say, oh, what do you think of this? They want you to say it's fine. They don't want to hear, well, if you did this, this, and that. They don't want to hear that. Right. So it's like context has a lot to do with it, and yeah, and it's like I know if somebody asked me, I wouldn't. I mean, I gain nothing by being an asshole at that moment. It's like, look, it's like, if you're asking me, it's because you respect my opinion enough to give you information that you need. If right. I'm telling you, it's because I want to see you get better at what you do. It's like, I know the struggle. The struggle is real. I know what it feels like. Let me give you some shortcuts. Let me give you, a path. Yeah, it's like that. That's true. That's true. But even then, it's like even now, it's like, look, it's like I have this manuscript, this first draft that's just sitting on my desk that I'm supposed to. I know logically, I should be giving it to JD for him to read and give me feedback on. I'm terrified to do it. I mean, you see, and this is the stupid thing. I don't know why, because I've asked him for story advice before, and he has given me, I mean, gold. He has given me gold. But it still terrifies me. Because it's like, it's like, and here's the thing: he's never said that sounds stupid. When it comes to story, you see, the funny thing is, if we're just having a regular conversation about shit happening in the real world,
oh, he'll tell you real quick.
He'll be really quick. That's stupid. But if I'm asking about creative stuff, it's like, okay, I'm trying to figure this part out of the story. He'll actually, like I said, he'll give me gold. Like the one thing that I really get out of him is that, like I said, he puts a little bit more spine on my male characters. Which, that's what I really, really like, and I have a tendency to make them a little too milk toasty on my own. So, you know, it's like, it depends. Like, again, it depends on who you talk to. Um, but it's still here. The first draft is still here. It's still sitting here. So, I mean, so even at my age, I still can't get over that. That it's like, I don't want people to look at my work and go, oh, that's because, actually, I've had people do that to me at conventions, to my face. It's like, this looks ugly. This is ugly. Why are you? It's like literally, like a couple would be standing there, and it's like one wants to buy my work, and the other person's going, this is ugly. Why are you buying it? And I'm like, wait, asshole, I'm right in front of you. I'm right here. It's like, I'm the one that did that ugly shit. So
Right.
What the fuck, and the thing is that also, I really do think that has a lot to do with people, that they don't see you as a creator, they see you as a salesperson. So you're no different than when they go to Home Depot and something, and you're just there, guarding the aisles or something. It's like, it's like, so they're not making that connection that the person behind the table has anything to do with the work. So they think that they could just talk like that. I mean, it's like, I mean, I've had people say some stupid shit to my face. It's like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. So it's like, so I understand, like, the hesitancy to hear critique. And here's the thing. I'm talking about actual critique. I'm not talking about somebody outright saying, this is stupid, you should quit.
No, somebody with an actual opinion.
Well, but even then, it's like, even then,
that's
it's
not
like,
with a reason behind it.
Yeah, it's like, because an opinion is something, well, I don't like this. It's like, okay, you're not telling me anything there either. It's like, this sucks. You're not telling me anything. I don't like it. That doesn't tell me anything either. So even if they have an opinion, it doesn't mean anything, unless it's very specific to what they're looking at, because it's like, it's like, because one thing that kind of like one thing that I'm always like one thing that I'm always like telling people, especially when I see their sketchbooks, and it's really obvious that they're trying to make aesthetic sketchbooks, where it's like, oh, I'm trying to keep a sketchbook, but it's like, I can't keep up with making all these illustrations and whatnot, because they're trying to make an Instagram sketchbook where everything is like finished and aesthetic and whatnot. And I go, no, the whole point of a sketchbook is to get those wrists moving. That's my whole thing with doing a sketchbook. Keep the wrists loose, and you're working in your sketchbook. It's figuring it out. You're not doing finished pieces. That's the way the doodles look the way they do when I post them. The whole point of the sketchbooks is just to slap shit on the paper, just to get the ideas out. The whole point is that I'm not going to, worry about whether it's perfect or the lines are right or this, that, the other thing.
Just brain diarrhea.
It really is. And it's like, and what it is that, you're creating this kind of like this muscle memory of being able to draw less self-consciously. Just draw. It's like, because it's like, if you're too worried about making an aesthetic sketchbook, you're gonna be in for a bad time, because the second you have a line out of place, you're just gonna tear pages out, and it's like, no, it's like, it's like, so that's like the first thing. It's like, no, sketches, one, constantly do sketches, right? But keep those wrists, don't keep the wrists, loose.
Relax.
Keep it loose. Relax. It's like, even if it looks ugly, even if it doesn't look perfect, that's the point of the sketchbook, because eventually you'll do it enough that your lines start to fall into place on their own, so it's like that's the whole thing. It's like, it's like, it's like, I mean, it's almost counterintuitive that in order to get better at drawing, you kind of have to think less about it. You know, so if I'm going to give anybody any type of unsolicited advice about artwork, it's
Her it
that.
is.
Don't fuck up your wrists, loosen up, and think less about your artwork. You see, and that's the thing, because it's like, you know, because it's like, here's the thing, because it's like, yeah, it's like the whole story is that Neil Adams made people cry, but it's like, okay, you get that out of your system, but was he wrong? You know, I mean, because in the end, it's like, it's the same thing. Ben Lacey asked me all these questions. I'm freaking out. I'm like going, oh my God, what is he implying? And this, that, and the other thing. Until I sat down and go, is he wrong? Does Ben have a point in asking me these questions about where the story is heading, as to what Ego Raven's motivations are for certain things? And it's like, holy shit, he's not wrong. You know, it's like, honestly, it's like, look, the people going up to Neil Adams and crying, bursting into tears afterwards, you know, and here's the thing. And it's like, here's the thing. As far as I know, I've never done it. But as far as I could tell, Neil Adams was not an asshole in terms that he was telling you to fuck off. He was an asshole because he sees what you're lacking in your artwork. And it's like, look, all he wants to do is like, look, if you're serious about making a career in comics, this is what you need to do.
And there's no time for coddling on a convention floor either.
Right,
it's
exactly.
Like, hit it and quit
you know, Frank Miller ate shit at the altar of Neil Adams until he became Frank Miller. You know, I mean, it's like they were, it's like the guy when we were at the Continuity Studios offices, you know, it's like I said, we couldn't have planned it. We couldn't have paid for that tour. They said that Frank Miller, even the guy told the story about how Frank Miller kept coming back over and over and over again. And Frank Miller would, and Neil Adams would hammer him saying, it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. But Frank Miller kept coming back. There are other artists who kept doing. Steve Rude, I will always remember at a convention, I forgot which one it was, Neil Adams, he sets up his tables so that he's kind of on a platform. He's on a platform. So, and he has his drawing table in front of him. And Steve Rude, because the dude is like 6-something, right? So Neil Adams was sitting at his table, at drawing table at a convention, and Steve Rude was like kneeling in front of him at the table as if he was talking to the Pope.
Oh, jeez.
You know, I mean, it was absolutely insane to see that this is how people saw Neil Adams. You know, that's, yes. Did he make you cry? Yes. But was he wrong? You know, if you come up to him, you are asking for Neil Adams to tell you how to make it in this industry as a professional as he saw it. Okay? And it's like, he's not your grandmother. So it's like, yeah, it's, you know, you could say it was a form of tough love. But the thing is, though, to see the people who do come back to him, it's like when you have Steve Rude kneeling in front of you, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, so it's like, I you know, on one hand, it's like, yeah, it's like, would you have cried? Would I have cried if Neil Adams was like saying, it's like, look, you don't, it's like the way you're going, the way he sees the industry. If he says you're not cut out for what he sees in this industry, it's like the way you're going, you're never going to work at Marvel. You're never going to work at DC. You know, you're never going to be able to pivot into advertising. You know, the way he did, you know, because you don't have the skill. Is that enough to cry on? Maybe, you know, but if your goal is to actually do these things, wouldn't Neil Adams be the one to tell you? You know? So it's tough to kind of to kind of like like I don't know. It's like critique is right. No, absolutely. I mean, it's like, and that's the thing. Tracing is not cheating. It's like, look, Wallywood has his shortcuts. Neil Adams has his shortcuts. I mean, there was this story with he was working with Louis Small Jr. and Louis Small was trying to draw a lion and was just like really, really struggling. Neil Adams comes up to him and he goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm trying to draw this lion." Neil Adams grabs the picture of the lion. He Xeroxes it, puts it on a fucking light box. He puts the paper on. He traces it. He goes, there's your fucking lion. Move on. It's like, it's like there's shortcuts to everything. It's like, yes, it's like, it's true, because the idea is that you trace enough. I do the same thing too. You trace enough to again, get that muscle memory until you don't need to trace anymore. And always remember, when you're tracing, you still really kind of have to know what you're doing, or else your shit's going to look like it's traced. You have to be able to know to alter those lines so that it looks like you're not tracing, because boy, have I seen some stuff where it's like, oh, these people are tracing and they are bad at it, so it's like, so yeah, I guess we could have talked more about this, but I mean, it's like, yeah, so yeah, critique is just one of those things where it's like, it depends on context, it depends on what you're looking for, and yeah, I honestly, if you're asking for a critique, okay, if it makes you cry, like I said, get it out of your system. Yes, it's upsetting for people to say that you're not as good as you think you are. Okay, right. It is upsetting. But at the same time, it's like, were they wrong? Can you actually do something with that information? And you know what? And if somebody's just going to outright say that you suck, really, it's like, that is definitely not something worth crying over. I mean, it's like, it's like if someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, you suck," like, "Oh, your mom suck," and then you move on. That's all you have to do. It's like, because that's how meaningless that is. I mean, it's like, look, it's like, if you're serious about getting better, ask the people that can give you that information. It's going to sting. Yes, it's any type of critique is going to sting on that first try. But like I said, are they wrong?
Right.
Learn something from it and move on. Get the tears out, get it out, and then move. And then it's like, work on that.
Issue.
Yeah, it's like, work on the artwork the way you're supposed to, because in the end, it's like, if you're satisfied with your artwork, you're in more of a danger zone than going to a critique from somebody. Being satisfied with your work is where your worst work will come out, and not in a good way.
Right.
Not, it's like, because the last thing you want to do is be satisfied with what you're doing. Always be moving forward, always be improving. Even Bernie Wrightson, at even after Frankenstein, he was like saying, "How could I do this better?" Tim Vigil was studying Bernie Wrightson, because Tim Vigil was going, how can I ink better? It's like, every professional that is still thinking, how can I do this better? And I think that as long as we keep that in mind, how can I make this better? What information do I need to make this better? I think it'll make the sting less, but it'll still sting. It's like, look, I'm saying this shit just as
growth
much for
is
my
pain.
son. Yes, growth is pain. Growth is pain, and boy, have I been in a lot of pain these past couple of weeks. And look, I'm saying this just as for myself, convincing myself, as I am. It's like, look, it's like, I'm in it with you. I cannot stand critiques. I cannot. It's like, look, I'm still a big baby when it comes to that shit, but I also know how important it is if I want to improve, so Yeah, so I don't know if this was the conversation that C was hoping for. So
I don't know. He disappeared. I just hope he's still listening. And he
yeah,
brings
so
me
it's
that
like,
coffee,
right, yes,
the
exactly.
mocha,
Yeah,
the hot
you know,
one.
that's true.
Thanks.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so I don't know. You have any thoughts on this, Nita? I mean,
I'm good. I'm
yeah.
good.
Yeah, because it's like we're already. I mean, because I can continue talking about this, but you know what? We got things to do. I got I got fun stuff on the drawing table to finish.
Ooh.
So you know, so yeah, so that's so that's all I got for everybody. You know, it's like if you want me to talk more about this, or just mention it in the chat, and we'll get we'll or contact Nita. It's like, oh, can you talk more about this or that? We'll talk more about this on another show. So there you go. So that's it for me. I guess Nita, you said that you were good, just waiting on your coffee. I guess. So there you go.
Yes.
So that's all I got, and thank you for everybody in the chat for chiming in. It's like, yeah, it's tough for all of us. And thank you to the lucky 13 people who are still watching us from regions beyond. Thank you for sticking with us in this hour where we're kind of all over the place. So, but hey, it's like, that's why you listen, right? Just to see what we'll end up talking about next. We're kind of like Howard Stern without being an asshole all the time. It's like you just want to see what we just said. It's fine. But thank you so much
for doing that.
Yeah, it's like, but thank you for listening to us in the past hour anyway. So if you want to see more of my artwork and anything like that,
IndyComicsNetwork@gmail.com.
There you go. Yeah, and Nita will set that up for you. You can head on over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWRKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media sites. But like I said, I mostly hang out on Facebook, where I tell my best jokes. Where all the doodles make sense. So it's like, and this one shot will definitely make sense if you follow me on Facebook. So yes, we do see sketches, current work in progress, and live updates of everything that I'm doing. And again, you can catch all my videos here on YouTube at my channel at Daphne Lage, Lage Art, which also simulcasts through the Indy Comics Network. And I will catch you all on Wednesday again, where I will do a stream this week. I got a little tied up this Wednesday, so I couldn't do a stream, but I will make sure to do a live stream this Wednesday. We'll throw some artwork on the table and see what happens. So Wednesdays 4 to 6 p.m. I will definitely make sure to be there. Speaking of not being there, Alison is having her own thing going on today, so she's not going to be doing her live stream today, but hopefully by next Friday, she'll be good and ready to go. So she'll be able to show off her stuff as well. And remember that you can currently read Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn in its new full color format on my website, updates daily. So if you want to read Eagle Raven for free, you can do that on the website, or you can also download a 16-page preview sample of the first issue if you're a little impatient waiting for those daily updates. So, if you're a little on the fence, you've never heard of the Eagle Raven before, and you're on the fence about supporting the campaign, I'm giving you everything you need to make that decision. You can find that at eagleworks.com. But if you prefer your comics to be more of a furry Lord of the Rings type of adventure, you can follow the links to Tall Tales online, TAILS, and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. So on that note, we return to the wise words of the ancients. Eat your food, moisturize, mind your business, and do the work, because when you actually do the work, you never have to fake any of your accomplishments. And we'll see you on Monday with Mike Jimmy launching Life on Quora. And that's it for me. That's it for Nita. See you later. Ciao.